Your idea is the most important thing. I mean that literally. Early in my career, I spent a lot of time writing scripts, but I didn't really know what the idea was. I didn't really have a logline or a concept. I was just writing stuff that I thought was cool. And none of that was a waste of time because no writing is a waste of time, but also it's kind of a waste of time. When I would hand people my scripts, I would have to say, oh, you just have to read it. I couldn't really figure out how to summarize it in one sentence. That's a problem. And you might be thinking to yourself, no, I have a script that you just have to read it. You just have to read it. Here's the reason that's a problem. It's because the way this industry works, there has to be this extremely long game of telephone for the idea to get from here to here. Here being your brain, here being the screen. Most ideas only go from like brain to like maybe get paid for the script. Most scripts that get purchased don't get made. But the reason easy to explain high concept idea is so important is because the higher up the chain of command you go for that game of telephone that has to happen for your idea to get sold or made, those people do not have the time or even want to read the script. Most producers, they can tell you by just the idea if that is a script that they're in theory interested in. When I was an intern, I got to sit in at a big studio meeting every week. And as the interns, we would often be pitching what we read to the head honchos. And most of the time, they were saying pass or yeah, send that to me, just based on the one sentence synopsis. And now you might be thinking, well, that's not fair. They need to read the script. No, they can tell from the synopsis what the trailer's gonna look like, if people are gonna go see that movie. Most importantly, if it's going to make money. If it makes money, that saves them from being fired. There are always exceptions, and there are scripts that have been made into great films that are hard to summarize in one sentence. But for the most part, as you make your way through this industry as a writer, you'll learn that there are just things that make it harder. And so you wanna try to remove those elements to make to stack the deck in your favor, as they say. Nowadays, and I never thought I would be in this position, what I find is I spend the most time figuring out just what the idea is. And I used to hate when people told me this, like you should spend a lot of time tweaking your logline, tweaking your concept until you start writing it. I was so impatient that I was like, I'm just gonna write it and figure it out. But do an exercise. Next time you're starting a new project, try to think about what the poster is before you even start writing. Think about the trailer. Think about if you go to the movies and you see a bunch of trailers and you tell your friend after, oh, there's a new movie coming out about this, and you give them like the one sentence idea. Think of your movie like that, because the way that that idea is going to bounce around is going to be by people summarizing it in one sentence. The joke in this industry is always like, oh, it's Die Hard in a blah, blah, blah. And I've even gotten comments before on here that says, oh, when you use comps like that, when you say it's this movie meets that movie, that it's not creative, you're supposed to do that. It's a shorthand. It tells people exactly what the movie is. We all have the cultural context of hundreds of movies. Use that. Your idea is literally the most important thing, and you should spend a lot of time on it before you start writing.